Is your vehicle in need of a quick oil change or tune-up before hitting the road this summer? Stop by Quick Lube and Tune, the home of the good guys at 610 South Wenatchee Avenue.
It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good evening and welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look at our weather forecast. And a word of the day for our weather, windy. And we will see that beginning tonight, especially around the east slopes of the Cascades. And right here in the Wenatchee Valley, we could see winds sustained around 15 to 25 miles an hour tonight. And then gusts maybe up to 30 miles an hour. That will raise the concerns for spread of any new and existing fires around the area. More wind for Friday as well. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on in your weather forecast. Now, a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. An Arizona police officer dies in a motorcycle accident near Twisp. Hale Park celebrates its grand opening, and Winthrop keeps the North Cascades smoke jumper base after a U.S. Forest Service review. Later on, we'll have sports, your weather forecast, and our feature story today. But first, a trial is set to begin next week in a Chelan County cold case homicide after a judge rejects a defense plea to dismiss the charges. Bernard Swaim is accused, along with his ex-wife Dawn Souls, of first-degree murder in the 1982 death of Stephen Smith of Kashmir. His attorney, Nick Yednak, asked the court to dismiss the charges, arguing that the court's decision to delay charges for 34 years and the alleged mishandling of evidence over that time caused prejudice to his client so that he can no longer receive a fair trial. He reacted to Judge Leslie Allen's ruling following a hearing this morning in Chelan County Superior Court.
We're standing outside the courtroom with Nick Yednak, who is the defense attorney for Bernard Swaim in this murder trial. Judge Allen has apparently ruled against your motion to dismiss the charges. Your reaction?
Well, of course, I'm disappointed. I think the motion had merit, but I respect the ruling. We're just going to have to go forward. And as you saw today, some evidence is just not available to the defense, and it's going to present a challenge to defend my client. But that's where we're at, and that's where we're going.
Okay, but you're set to start trial on Tuesday.
We're going to trial on Tuesday.
The trial is set to start Tuesday with jury selection. Swaim and Souls are alleged to have conspired to kill Smith, who had also been previously married to Souls. Smith's body was never found. On Monday, a tragic traffic accident occurred in Okanogan County, just outside of Twisp. Mesa, Arizona police officer Kurt Carlson was found dead after he apparently lost control of his motorcycle, went off the road, and crashed into the Methow River. We spoke with Okanogan County Sheriff Frank Rogers to get more information on that accident.
Right now, that's what's so confusing is he'd been up here riding with two of his buddies who are actual police officers on the coast, and they were headed up to Twisp, and when they got there, he wasn't behind them, so they went back to look, found the wreck, and him and the motorcycle were in the river there, the Methow River. Everything we can find at the scene there's no skid marks, there was no other vehicles involved. All we can see is where he went off the side of the road, down the embankment, and into the river. And so, we're working with the coroner's office, Dave Rodriguez here, and he's going to be doing an autopsy, and we'll try to see what else, if we can find something else. But right now, there's just nothing saying this happened. It doesn't look like, an animal ran out or he swerved. The tracks just go straight off the edge.
Carlson was a 17-year veteran of the police force and was in the area riding with fellow police officers. The city of Wenatchee's first off-leash dog park is now open. At a ribbon-cutting ceremony last night, a good crowd was on hand, including the furry kind, to take a look at Phase 1 of the park's construction. Phase 2 of the park project will begin next year and will include restrooms, children's play equipment, a small skate park, picnic shelter, and some additional landscaping. The development of Hale Park is financed by both state and city funds, along with private contributions from the group Fido. Hale Park is located at the south end of Worthen Street near the foot of the pedestrian pipeline bridge. In an effort to help customers understand solar energy and how to stay safe during this month's solar eclipse, the Chelan County PUD will host an evening to explore the cosmic magic of the near total eclipse. That's tomorrow night at Walla Walla Point Park. The first 100 people will receive one pair of protective paper glasses, and the night will be full of hands-on activities and presentations on the solar eclipse. The event runs from 5:30 to 7 at shelter number 1 at Walla Walla Point Park. Stay tuned for more on the solar eclipse in our feature story today. Coming up, Winthrop keeps the North Cascades smoke jumper base after a U.S. Forest Service review, and we'll have an update on the Diamond Creek fire. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching NCW Life News.
Today we're watching an intriguing female searching for her ideal habitat. It appears she's a social creature. Interacts well with others. What determination! This Sheila can do anything. Well, I didn't see this coming. She's enrolling in Charter College. Could this be her ideal habitat? Caring for others?
This, not healthy.
Start your evolution at chartercollege.edu.
I gotta tell you, I'm nervous. Selling your home, it's a big step.
Can we find the right buyer in this market?
Look at our website. When someone looks at your home, I can tell how ready they are to buy. See that number? The closer it is to 100, the closer they are to buying. So, I know who to zero in on.
So you have a secret weapon.
You mean, we have a secret weapon.
I like that. Oh, what do you think of the wallpaper?
I love that touch.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by First Choice Collision Center. Happening Saturday, August 19 at 2 p.m. is the Junior Ranger 1-2 Tree Program at Lake Wenatchee State Park. Get ready for some educational fun on the trails as you will learn how to identify common trees and how to tell their age. Wear your walking shoes and bring water. A take-home project will be included so you remember what you learned. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
It appears that Winthrop will continue to serve as headquarters for the North Cascades smoke jumpers. Steve Hare reports.
For nearly 80 years, firefighters have utilized the North Cascades smoke jumper base to serve eastern Washington and beyond. For the past several years, the U.S. Forest Service has been reviewing existing facilities, including the obstacle-free zone and current safety standards. Now, this summer, a group of engineering and smoke jumper pros completed a preliminary analysis ahead of any needed changes to existing facilities. Now, the analysis explored a broad range of options at locations in Yakima, Wenatchee, and Winthrop. The group analyzed and evaluated several factors, including economic impacts, fire occurrence, cost, and more. Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest Supervisor Mike Williams said all factors considered, the existing base location in Winthrop is the top recommended alternative. He says Wenatchee is a close second and could also provide effective wildfire support coverage to eastern Washington. The Yakima location is a distant third, according to Williams, and will not be considered any further. I'm Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
The Diamond Creek fire in the Pasayten Wilderness has now grown to 27,210 acres. Matt Ellis, Fire Management Officer for the Methow Ranger District, has an update on the fire's current behavior.
Good morning. We're going to be talking about fire behavior as it relates to the Diamond Creek incident. So, this fire started under extreme burning conditions on July 23rd in the Diamond Creek drainage. We've seen consistently large fire growth days when we either had fire weather conditions or dry cold frontal passages. This incident started under extremely warm temperatures and very low relative humidities. We've seen strong winds, and when those things came into alignment with fuels and topography, we've had large fire growth days. Currently, we're seeing reduced temperatures by 10 to 15 degrees and increased humidities from 15 to 20% in the lower valleys. That has led to moderating conditions on the southern end of the incident, and we're still seeing single and group tree torching, but rates of spread have dropped significantly.
Officials warn that even though the Diamond Creek fire behavior remains moderate, activity could increase over the next few days with hotter temperatures, low humidity, and increased winds in the weather forecast. There are currently 6 fire crews, 2 helicopters, 15 fire engines and 7 water tender trucks tending to the blaze, which is burning about 12 miles north of Mazama and 6 miles south of the Canadian border. You're watching NCW Life News. Coming up next, your sports update, followed by today's feature story. That and much more still to come on NCW Life News. Stay with us.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's blueberry picking season and King 5 named us the second best destination restaurant in Washington State. So toss the family in the cruiser and get on out to Blueberry Hills for the best down-home scratch country cooking you've had in years. And don't forget our award-winning pies. We're fun, family-friendly, and a delicious destination year-round. We're open every day from 8 to 3, serving breakfast and lunch all day. So come on out to Blueberry Hills.
At Doghouse Motorsports, we ride what we sell. There's a lot we could say about the CD Spark and the CD GTI, but ultimately, the ride says it all.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy Wednesday. Well, it was an interesting ninth inning, but the Seattle Mariners hung on to edge Baltimore 7-6 today in Seattle to take 2 of 3 in the series. The Orioles brought 10 men to the plate in the ninth, scoring 2 runs off reliever Edwin Diaz on 3 walks and 2 hit batsmen before Mark Rybczynski got in to get the final out and end the ball game and give Seattle its second straight win. The Mariners grabbed an early lead in this one on Yonder Alonso's 2-run homer in the 4th to break a 1-1 tie. Baltimore tied it in the 5th before Seattle took the lead back in the bottom of the 5th on RBI singles by Robinson, Cano, Alonso, and Danny Valencia. The M's made it 7-4 in the 6th on Leonos Martin's solo homer to right. Gene Segura finished the day 3 for 5 with a run, while Alonso was 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. Also in the American League West today, some early games as the Angels edged Washington 3-2. Kansas City got by Oakland 7-6. Detroit's at Texas, Houston hosting Arizona coming up tonight. So the standings right up to the date: Houston in first, LA second, Seattle in third in the American League West. Now in the wild card race today, we mentioned a couple of wild card games still to come. The Yankees are at the New York Mets while Tampa Bay is in Toronto. So the standings up to the minute in the wild card race: the Yankees atop, LA in second, Kansas City a half game back, Minnesota a full game back. Seattle now with a win today at 561-61 on the season. They're a game and a half out. Well, let's go back to last night. Making his Mariners debut, Andrew Albers gave up just 1 run over 5 innings and struck out 4 to help Seattle down Baltimore 3-1 and snap that 5-game losing streak. 4 Seattle relievers pitched 4 scoreless innings of relief while striking out 5 Oriole batters as Edwin Diaz picked up his 26th save. The play of the game came early as Baltimore was at the plate in the top of the 3rd. A runner at 3rd, a fly ball to right center field. Gerard Dyson made a running off-balance catch and threw home to get Manny Machado out of the plate. Manager Scott Service said that's why Dyson leads the American League in outfield assists.
Obviously, the play of the game was the Dyson, the 1st and 3rd, nobody out. The diving play in center field, pop up to his feet and make that kind of throw, and it really changed the whole game. We would have been down a little bit more there, and who knows how that inning would have played out. The catch alone was good. I was happy with that, but when I see him pop up and try to throw to home, I didn't really think he had a chance, quite frankly, and it was a perfect throw. Heck of a play.
Service was also pleased with the performance of his well-rested bullpen.
Defense was big. Obviously, the pitching was outstanding. Our bullpen, unfortunately, they had too much rest. We just hadn't gotten those guys out there here recently, so they were ready to go. Pagan, awesome. The outs he gave us, and then piece in the 8th inning together, and Eddie Diaz was sharp again. So, nice ball game. We need to get back on winning the series. We have an opportunity to do that now, and hopefully end on a good note here.
The Mariners are off tomorrow before hitting the road on Friday to play the rest of the season, or at least the rest of August. On the road, they'll be in Tampa Bay to take on the Rays. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll Tuesday said he supports his players being themselves, but prefers his team stand during the national anthem. His comments come after defensive end Michael Bennett sat during the anthem on Sunday's game against the Chargers. Bennett was protesting the actions in Charlottesville over the weekend, saying, "This is bigger than me, this is bigger than football." Carroll said Michael has really dedicated the last few years of his life to try to understand what's going on around the world. He has traveled everywhere to understand people's issues and concerns. It has really captured his heart, and he has really turned his focus on doing work and helping people and doing everything he can for things that he thinks where he can help. I support the heck out of his concerns, but Pete Carroll says, I wish that our team would stand for the anthem. With sports, I'm Eric Grandstrom on the NCW Life Channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. Well, are you prepping for the solar eclipse next week? Our feature story today breaks down the celestial event.
First, the United States will be treated to a historic total solar eclipse. We're all familiar with the basic concept here. The moon slides in between the sun and the earth, covering the sun completely, and making visible the sun's corona, the outer part of the sun's atmosphere, only visible during an eclipse of this kind. There are two key figures at play here, 400 and 5. The reason why it appears as if the moon can completely cover the sun during a solar eclipse is because the sun is 400 times larger than the moon. But amazingly, it is also about 400 times farther away. This makes it seem as if they're of relatively similar size when viewed from the surface of our planet. This won't be the case forever. The moon is getting farther away from the Earth, and at some point in the distant future, the moon will be too far from Earth to cover the sun completely, meaning that total solar eclipses will no longer be possible. The 5 is a little more complicated. It's common to wonder why we don't get eclipses like this more often. After all, it seems like we would get one every month as the moon orbits the Earth. But because the angle of the moon's orbit doesn't exactly align with the Earth's orbit, there isn't a constant opportunity for the proper alignment. The moon's orbit is tilted about 5 degrees off Earth's orbit. Instead, there are two places called nodes where an eclipse can occur, when the orbits sync up and the moon crosses the sun's plane. One that would generate a lunar eclipse, and one that would generate a solar eclipse. While this means that part of the Earth sees a total solar eclipse about once every 18 months, there's a catch. It's been estimated that the time between solar eclipses happening in the same place is 360 to 410 years. Which means that the eclipse that will cross America on August 21st is not just once in a lifetime. It's once in roughly 5 lifetimes.
And for more information on the solar eclipse, visit our website at ncwlife.com. We'll be back in just a moment with a recap of some of today's stories and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Every golfer aims to play their best, and smart golfers turn to the Golfer's Edge to get the Golfer's Edge. PGA professional Ed Payne has you covered from tee to green. You can work on your swing or play 18 in air-conditioned comfort on the golf simulator. Tanya's Corner has all the apparel the golfer needs at sale prices. And Ed can even rebuild your favorite set of clubs or custom make you a brand new set. Ask how you can qualify for a free 30-minute lesson at the Golfer's Edge on Mission between Kittitas and Yakima.
No matter what your age or ailment, when you wake up each day with a sense of purpose, life has meaning and joy.
Just wait a while, it'll get in the hole somewhere.
Helping you do this is our purpose. Highgate Senior Living, each day to the fullest.
The best thing about my life right now is me.
The taste of fantastic pizza is found in third-generation Pizza & More. The secret? The recipes of success have been handed down through generations, each adding their own special touch. Pizza & More believes in traditions, whether it's supporting the local sporting teams or continuing to serve their pizzas buffet style, dine-in, takeout, or delivery. Third generation Pizza & More, a team player in this valley for generations.
Welcome back, and now for a recap of some of our top stories. A trial is set to begin next week in a Chelan County cold case homicide after a judge rejects a defense plea to dismiss the charges. Bernard Swaim is accused, along with his ex-wife Dawn Souls, of first-degree murder in the 1982 death of Stephen Smith of Kashmir. His attorney, Nick Jednak, asked the court to dismiss the charges, arguing that the county's decision to delay charges for 34 years and the alleged mishandling of evidence over that time caused prejudice to his client so that he can no longer receive a fair trial. He reacted to Judge Leslie Allen's ruling following a hearing this morning in Chelan County Superior Court.
We're standing outside the courtroom with Nick Jednak, who is the defense attorney for Bernard Swaim in this murder trial. Judge Allen has apparently ruled against your motion to dismiss the charges. Your reaction?
Well, of course, I'm disappointed. I think the motion had merit, but I respect the ruling, and we're just going to have to go forward. And as you saw today, some evidence is just not available to the defense, and it's going to present a challenge to defend my client. But that's where we're at, and that's where we're going.
Okay, but you're set to start trial on Tuesday.
We're going to trial on Tuesday.
The trial is set to start Tuesday with jury selection. Swaim and Souls are alleged to have conspired to kill Smith, who had also been previously married to Souls. Smith's body was never found. On Monday, a tragic traffic accident occurred in Okanogan County just outside of Twisp. Mesa, Arizona police officer Kurt Carlson was found dead after he apparently lost control of his motorcycle, went off the road, and then crashed into the Methow River. We spoke with Okanogan County Sheriff Frank Rogers to get more information on that accident.
Right now, that's what's so confusing is he'd been up here riding with two of his buddies who are actual police officers on the coast, and they were headed up to Twisp, and when they got there, he wasn't behind them, so they went back to look, found the wreck, and him and the motorcycle were in the river there, the Methow River. Everything we can find at the scene there's no skid marks, there was no other vehicles involved. All we can see is where he went off the side of the road, down the embankment, and into the river. And so, we're working with the coroner's office, Dave Rodriguez here, and he's going to be doing an autopsy, and we'll try to see what else, if we can find something else. But right now, there's just nothing saying this happened. It doesn't look like, an animal ran out or he swerved. The tracks just go straight off the edge.
Carlson was a 17-year veteran of the police force and was in the area riding with fellow police officers. Well, it appears that Winthrop will continue to serve as headquarters for the North Cascades smoke jumpers. Steve Hare reports.
For nearly 80 years, firefighters have utilized the North Cascades smoke jumper base to serve eastern Washington and beyond. For the past several years, the U.S. Forest Service has been reviewing existing facilities, including the obstacle-free zone and current safety standards. Now, this summer, a group of engineering and smoke jumper pros completed a preliminary analysis ahead of any needed changes to existing facilities. Now, the analysis explored a broad range of options at locations in Yakima, Wenatchee, and Winthrop. The group analyzed and evaluated several factors, including economic impacts, fire occurrence, cost, and more. Okanogan-Wenatchee National Forest Supervisor Mike Williams said all factors considered, the existing base location in Winthrop is the top recommended alternative. He says Wenatchee is a close second and could also provide effective wildfire support coverage to eastern Washington. The Yakima location is a distant third, according to Williams, and will not be considered any further. I'm Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
And now your weather forecast for north central Washington. And before we get to that, let's take a look outside our weather window and the beautiful Columbia River near Orondo. You can see some wind blowing as well around our area. And that will really be our biggest weather feature over the next couple days. Some windy conditions, also a few high clouds out there. But all in all, a pretty darn nice day across north central Washington. As we take a look at our satellite picture, one thing you'll really notice is that area of high pressure spinning clockwise off the coast of Oregon and Northern California. That high will dominate our weather through the week and into the weekend. The areas in orange on the map are temperatures mainly in the 80s, while the pink and red indicate hot temps with 90s to 100 degrees expected. So basically expect dry and seasonably warm temperatures for the rest of the week. We will see locally breezy conditions. That'll be possible late today and tonight, then again late Friday with the passage of a pair of weak frontal systems and a strong onshore flow. We can expect more of the same for the weekend with dry conditions and warm temperatures. And there's a look at winds that we could possibly see tonight. Wenatchee 20 to 30 miles an hour, as well as most of the area, which will see some pretty strong winds except the passes. Other than that, be careful if you're traveling out there a little bit later on tonight. Let's take a look at that forecast now, and another mild overnight low is expected tonight. We will see some windy conditions too. 64 the overnight low tonight. Winds, as I mentioned, gusting between 20 and 30 miles an hour. And then we're going to warm up for Thursday and Friday. 90 Thursday, 92 on Friday to end our work week. Remember, more wind late Friday afternoon. And then as we get into the end of our forecast period, we will see temperatures in the 90s and 80s, and we'll warm up again by Monday and Tuesday. Sunshine with high temperatures around 93 degrees. And finally tonight, it's a rare event in itself to see a full-grown bull moose in the wild. It's even a bigger surprise to see a rare white moose. Check out this video from Sweden. So beautiful, and only 100 of those rare white moose left in the country of Sweden. And if you have a video of the day you'd like to see right here on NCW Life News, you can message us on our Facebook page at the NCW Life channel. And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life channel on Twitter.
Reed's Marine in Manson has your boating needs covered, offering the superior Regal lineup with options from 19 to 53 feet. With the Regal Express line, you have the freedom to explore with an innovative interior and the largest headroom in its class. Don't forget the roomy cockpit with seating to fit the whole family. From 26 to 32 feet, Reed's Marine has the Regal Express to fit your needs. View our current inventory at chelanboat.com or stop by our Manson showroom on beautiful Lake Chelan and see the entire Regal line.
Romaine Electric in Wenatchee will diagnose, repair, or replace your electric, brake, trailer plug, or vehicle lighting. Is your starter or alternator in need of repair? Romaine is the Wenatchee Valley specialists. Their technicians will have you up and running. The diagnostics team at Romaine Electric identifies and repairs all electric issues from farm, truck, marine, industrial, diesel, ATV, and PWC. Romaine Electric in the Industrial Park off Ferry Street and Wenatchee Avenue. Stop on by or give them a call today, 663-8150. There's no substitute for the power of cable TV advertising. With Solion Cable TV advertising, you can reach your target audience right here in North Central Washington. We understand their viewing habits and can precisely target your customers on great cable networks like these. Call Solion Broadcasting today and let us show you how to put your business message right in front of thousands of prospects at a very affordable price. Solion Broadcasting, 509-888-2020.